debunking the claims about the net generation. So they're very prevalent in the literature. Oblinger and Oblinger came out in 2005 with an edited volume, about 15 or 16 chapters that looked at different aspects of the net generation in the college world, again, entirely in the United States. And if you look at the underlying data and the research methods, most of the work, with the exception of one chapter, are really based on anecdotal observations. There's very little empirical research. And the claims that are made in this, in the chapters in this book are, first of all, that this entire generation has unprecedented levels of skill with information technology, that they take technology for granted, that they want more of it in their classes, and that post-secondary institutions are not responding fast enough to meet the needs of this generation. One thing I'll say about Oblinger and Oblinger, however, is that they, you know, and I mentioned this earlier, they're not as strident about the net generation claims as some of the popular literature is, and they do make the case that it may not be a generational issue. So there's a bit of a contradiction because the book, you know, even the title of the book and the kind of theme of the book and that comes through in all the chapters is really that this is a generational issue. But then if you read some of the details of some of the chapters, they are making the argument that perhaps it isn't a generational issue. And ironically, there's one chapter in the book that actually, the one that actually is based on solid research, tends to contradict the idea that it is a generational issue. So I think they're not clear, I think, what they're saying. Don Tapscott, as I mentioned, is one of the people that has really pushed this idea from the beginning. He was one of the first to put forward the idea that this generation is entirely different, and began with his 1998 book, Growing Up Digital. But if you look at where did he get his ideas from, where is his data from, it's based on discussions with 300 children who were members of an online discussion group. Now, he says it's balanced for gender and geography and socioeconomic status, but these children were all already participants in an online discussion group, and this is 1998, remember. That to me is a biased sample. If you're trying to understand what this generation is about, and you only go to an online discussion group, particularly in 1998 when that was a fairly novel approach, you're not likely to get a very representative indication of what that generation is up to. And the claims that he makes in 1998 is that this generation is a force for social transformation, that the access that they have to the interactive technologies is creating a generation of critical thinkers. And then 10, 11 years later, he comes out with Grown-Up Digital. And he's done more research, bigger sample of almost 8,000 randomly selected internet users. Again, he says it was stratified to avoid gender or socioeconomic biases. But if you look at where did he actually encounter these people, he got them through an online questionnaire, through the use of a Facebook group of over 200 people, and through a hosted online discussion in a global online network. So again, that's a biased sample. If you're really trying to get a representative picture of what this generation is up to, and you only go to the digital forums that they're hanging out in, that's not going to give you a representative picture. But based on that research, he's suggested that there are 8 norms for this generation, very similar to what he said in 1998. And so freedom and customization, which I've already mentioned, scrutiny, integrity, collaboration, entertainment, speed, and innovation. And one of the other problems with his work and with much of this work is because it's not traditional academic research, and a lot of his proprietary research, Tapscott's is proprietary. He makes that point in the introduction to his books, that it was done under contract for a number of corporations. He doesn't reveal all the details, so we have no way. It may well be legitimate, hardcore, solid research, but he doesn't give us the details. He doesn't give us the details of the methodology that allow us to assess the value, the quality of the research. He gives very little. But what he does give is troubling, as I've already said. Mark Prensky coined the term digital natives, digital immigrants, but if you look at what he actually wrote, it's really not based on research, it's based on his speculation. He's a games person, and he's making some claims that may have surface validity, and it makes sense that people working or using games would perhaps improve performance in certain areas, but he doesn't actually provide the research to support that. It's entirely speculative. John Seeley Brown is quite often cited, and his work is based on, again, on anecdotal observations of 15-year-olds working in his Xerox